I had my driving test a few days ago. I failed, but I made a get ready with me for my driving test. People keep commenting good luck or how did it go, and I'm just like, oh, I literally failed. But it was my first driving test, and there were some things in the test that really surprised me. So I thought, let me make a video about it, go through some of the things in the test that really surprised me, like I just didn't know it was gonna happen. First of all was the waiting room. There was like 8 other people that had a test at the same time. Everyone just had their different examiner come out with their like notepads, and then they called out everyone's name and we all headed out to the car. That was just so weird because like in the beginning it was just like a bunch of us just looking at each other. Some people had their instructors with them, but I was just like, oh my god, like this is so serious and scary. Like, oh my god. And then literally when we're heading out, I didn't know that there was going to be an eye test. I think it's for everyone, but my instructor just didn't tell me. So before we even got to the car, he was just like, can you read out that license plate? And I was like, is this part of the test? That's such a random thing to ask, you know, not knowing it was like fully like part of the test. Like I was kind of unsure, but obviously I just read it out and it was fine. But I was really like this is the first thing you're saying to me, like, hey. Another thing I wasn't expecting was the silence. Like, bro, when the sat nav was on, like there was silence in that car. Like we just didn't talk much, and in my head I was thinking, should I ask more questions, should I ask him about himself? But I didn't want to do too much because he obviously wasn't asking me questions. The only question he asked me was what would I be doing if I wasn't here today? And I just said I would be at my job, and he was like, oh, what do you do? And I told him what I did, and then silence again. Like it was actually silence in that car. And that was honestly when I was driving the best. Like I started off so good. What happened was that there was traffic, so he was like, we're gonna go off the sat nav and he's just gonna be directing me. And I was like, okay. But literally the route we were going on was the route we had just done that morning. So my instructor even said that if we had just gone that route, I wonder if he would have passed. But anyway, he was like, yeah, he's gonna be taking over now. I wasn't expecting him to go like off the trail. I just thought if we were gonna be stuck in traffic, we were gonna be stuck in traffic. Literally the sat nav was on for like 6 minutes max, and then it was just him the rest of the time directing me where to go. So I was just like, damn, like I really enjoy the sat nav, because if I saw it in the sat nav I would know exactly where to go, if you get what I mean. I got nervous, guys, 100% still my fault. I just wasn't checking my mirrors. I was expecting way more sat nav, and that's another thing that really surprised me. I knew like the moments where I messed up, but I just still thought it was enough pass. But he was like, you just weren't checking your mirrors enough, like you need to check your mirrors. Like, you can't pass me because it's so important to check your mirrors. Like, it's so unsafe if you're not. But that was my only major. So when he actually said that, like, you haven't passed, he literally goes, I can't pass you today. I was just like, oh, like, my heart dropped. Like, I honestly thought he was going to be like, psych. I thought he was gonna be like psych, but no, he was literally like, yeah, I can't pass you today. And he was like to my instructor, like, it was the not checking your mirrors, and my instructor was like, yeah. And I was thinking in my head, why isn't he checking the mirrors? It's fine though, as this says, keep calm and carry on. Next test I'm gonna pass. But I thought this would just be like a fun video to make, because I don't know, like I actually just didn't know what to expect. Going through the motions of doing something for the first time is always like weird.